everyone, Jessica from Ocean Journal Journals here. I am doing my first tutorial, and what we're going to make is this is my passport size traveler's notebook wallet. And I had a request to do a tutorial on this. So what we're going to do today is just the cover. So these are all the inserts that I made, that I custom made for what I wanted to use it for. And what we're going to try and do is recreate, oh dear, it's stuck, is recreate the cover. So this cover is made from craft paper cardstock. It's wrapped in a map, and I just used packing tape to kind of protect the map. And I've got book corners to protect the corners, and traveler style notebook elastic around the middle, and traveler style elastics down the spine, and some pockets. So here we go. So I've pre-prepared, I have a charm. I thought we'd do a dolphin charm for the front elastic. I have a sea turtle charm for the inside back cover to anchor down the elastic that goes around the middle of the journal. And I have these cute little fishy charm beads. They're just decoration for the elastic that goes up and down the spine. And all these things came from Michael's, nothing fancy. So here are our measurements. We need to create a single piece of card that is 21.5 centimeters wide and 13.7 centimeters high. I'm actually going to make this one longer so that we can fold this bottom bit to the inside to make these flaps. That's not how I did it on this one. I just taped these on, but I thought, let's do it this way. We'll try it out this way. So I've prepared, this is a vintage map from this book of vintage maps that I took the cover off of, and I used the cover for a traveler's notebook. And this is just the inside that I keep going to and reusing these inner bits for different projects. And I have several of these. So this is a map of the world, and this is, am I in frame? This is altogether quite wide. It's 25.5 centimeters wide, but if I line up just the inside bit, it's just about perfect. It's 21.7 centimeters wide, and it is, yikes, this is hard. It is just under 16 centimeters tall. So that gives us enough for a little bit of a lip at the bottom. So I've pre-glued this down to, ooh, there's some glue right there. I've pre-glued this down to just a piece of craft paper cardstock. And now I'm going to use my handy dandy cutter thing that we all have to cut it down, the edges down. So I'm just going to line up these edges. Can you see that? Yeah. And take those down so that we have it down to the right width. And then I'm gonna just take off the extra card. And then I'm going to want to score at 13.7 centimeters. So 13.7 centimeters. Let's do it right here at the bottom. 13.7 centimeters is 13.5, 6, 7 is right there. So I don't have a fancy scoreboard. What I do when I need to score something is I just use this groove in my cutting thing. I don't know what you call this. And I use my bone folder and I just use the groove to score along the line that I've marked. And that way I have a multitasking item instead of unitasking items. So I have my map for the front, and I have a, oh, I've got some glue there, don't I? I've got some score at the bottom. Now, it did break a little bit, but I'm not too worried about that because I'm going to cover it in tape. So this is going to be my my little folds at the bottom to slip things in. So the next thing I need to do is I need to figure out where I'm going to put the, actually I guess what I need to do next is to cover the insides with a map. So I'm going to pause for a second while I find an appropriate, well, I guess you guys can watch that. So let's see, I have this one, and it has all kinds of things in it. It has these interesting ones inside. And then it has the colorful ones. I think maybe I'd like, here's Massachusetts. Maybe Massachusetts would work. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so the spine's already been broken on this because I removed it from the book. So the maps actually come out quite easily. Oops. That was a bummer. Where's my X-Acto? Here I was thinking I was getting all prepared ahead of time. And here it is. Here's my X-Acto, and I will just help that along. Of course, being more stubborn now that I'm trying to film. Alright, so we have Massachusetts. Now, all these videos that I've ever watched, people have big debates about the glues they use. And for big sections of map like this, I do like the non-water based ones. I use this one, the Fabri-Tac, but for smaller things I also use this aqua glue, Tombow Mono. I've also used glue sticks, and I've tried rubber cement, and I've tried PVA. I've used a lot of different things. This one smells, but because it's not water-based, the maps don't wrinkle up, which I do kind of like. So I'm just going to line this up and glue it down. And I think I will do the whole thing, even though you won't see the inside of the pocket. Just gives it a little extra strength and a little extra layer. Go ahead and fast forward if you don't want to watch me glue. I find that I do like to watch these videos that other people make as I'm working. I don't know, it's like company, I guess. Okay, so I've got that all glued up. And here we go. I'll line that right up that edge. Right. Yep. And it also gets rid of that little bit that I tore, which is great. Use my bone folder to make sure I work that glue in to all parts, right up to the edges of the map. Okay, so now it came out nicely. I like that. Okay, now I'll just snip this off with just regular scissors. So the next thing I'm going to have to do is figure out my middle, and some people like to have this kind of rounded and they just do it along the spine. I actually liked how this came out, and I scored it, so it actually created a little bit of a spine. I just like the way that feels. So I think I'll do that again. I figured out that if it's 21.5 centimeters across, the center of that is 10.75 centimeters. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to eyeball it and make a little pinch at the center there. And then I think what I will do is just kind of a ½ centimeter on either side of that center mark. 2, 3, 4, 5. So just kind of eyeball it. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess this is where, if you have one of those Tim Holtz centering rulers, that it would be handy. I don't have one of those. I need to sell some work first before I buy myself one. Okay. So that is where I'm going to score, and once again I'm just going to use my cutting board here as a scoreboard. Here we go. I guess I should have measured it on the other side. Here, I'll just make a mark. And then I'll flip it because it has to, I want this to be the outside. Can't really see that. Hold on. There. There we go. Now I have my marks. And I'll line those up. And I will it's a little bit more challenging when it's thick, I guess. And then the second one, Alright, so I have my score marks. So that will be the way my journal lines up. Or it's not really journal, my wallet. So I need to decide how I want these to be. So I don't want them to go all the way across. So I'm just going to snip them from the outside towards the center. And then when I open them, I have a folder-like flap. Alright, so the next thing I need to do is I need to cover this all in my tape so that it So it has some protection. Jumpy Jess did a paper dory similar to this in a tutorial, and she used the sheets of plastic laminate, not the heat kind, but the sticky kind. I just don't have any of that. This is what I happen to have. So this is what I use. And I want it to, that wasn't very straight. Oh well. I want it to go over the edge. But I can do that from the inside out as well. I'll do this just like you're doing a journal. And I'll just go straight down the sides here, overlapping the edges of the tape and smoothing it out as you go. And so I'm protecting my edges, and I'm protecting my front, and I'm protecting my back as I do this. Hope that's not too loud. I just lost my light. Okay, so I'll just finish this side here. And a little bit on the end to protect the edge. Like that. It's going to have a book corner on it, so it doesn't. Be all right. All right, now I'll do the same for the inside. Work my way back up to the top. It doesn't matter as much since I've already gotten this outer edges. If they overlap, I can snip some of that off and trim it up nicely. And then last bit, I need to do a better job at the top here. You can see I haven't gotten a proper mat yet. I'm just using the end pages of cardboard from a couple of art pads. But it does the trick for now. And I can scribble little notes and things to myself as I go. There. It's all sealed and protected. And we just need to tape these edges down so that we have some stash pockets. one side. And the other. Alright, that's essentially our cover. So now we need to add the elastics, the book corners, and that's it. Alright, so we need the 2 holes here and here to put eyelets in. We need these 2 holes here and here, and here and here, to put the elastics that hold the inserts in. So I have, this is my Crocodile Big Bite, and I'm going to put it on 1/8 of an inch. I have these little tiny eyelets. I'm not real thrilled with them. They're We Are Memory Keepers ones that I got from Michaels, and they have a tendency to squash. So I found that if I squish them with just pliers, they do a little bit better than if I squish them with the Crocodile 2, because this just tends to break them. So anyway, so I need to make my holes first, and I just eyeball it. I don't do any big measurements. See, I don't know if you can see, but there's a hole punch here. I have it set at the smaller size, so I'm just going to make 2 holes at the top and 2 holes at the bottom with the Crocodile 2. And like I say, I'm just going to eyeball it. So here is 1, 2 at the top, and 1, 2 at the bottom. So then I'll pick out a couple of, I think I'll use silver on this one. I have a lot of them. And I do go from the outside in. So here is a 1, 2, and I think what I did with these last time is I might have used the Crocodile initially. Let's see how this goes. And I felt that one. Sometimes the inside one is harder to get, but that's going. Yeah, that's squished up nicely. See, they're very soft, and something as strong as a Crocodile 2 just smashes them to bits, and they get sharp, jagged edges. Been trying to find the proper ones to go with the Crocodile 2, but all I can find are the big ones. Alright, so those are down. So now we need to thread our elastic, and I have some thin elastic here that I use for this one. So for my larger journals, I use a thicker elastic that I have on a spool that I got off Amazon. But that's overkill for these. So this one is just some thin elastic that I got at Michaels, I think. So I'm gonna double it and then give myself a little extra, because there's nothing worse than having too short an elastic. So I go from the inside out first, so that you kind of have 2 even things on the outside. And this is where I thread my fish. So I'm going to go tail to mouth on these cute little fishies. And I don't use a needle, it just seems to fit through okay without one, or it has in the past. And that way I'll thread that back through the hole, so the fishies are both facing the edge of the journal. Oh, here's my other fishy. Here we go. Tail to mouth. And then this goes back through the outer edge, and we flip it on the inside, and I tighten it up a bit. Oh, I really went extra on that. And I tie it, and I tend to use this kind of sailory knot, some kind of a bend, I'm not sure what it's called, but you tie this one around, kind of around the string that it's going next to, and tighten that up. And I pull this one tight, and then I'm gonna tie this one around its neighbor here. And then when you pull, they bang up against each other and lock each other in place. Alright, so those are our elastics that will fit our inserts through. And now, isn't that cute? I love those little fishies. So now I need to make a hole in the back here with my Crocodile 2. I think I used the larger ones. I think I will use the larger one for this because I can't reach with my pliers. So I need a larger, just it seems so big. A larger eyelet. This is the bigger size eyelet. I actually did use the small one. It's really hard to get the small ones to smash in the middle of a page though. I think I will just go with the big one here. So I'm going to change it to 3/16, and I'll make a hole in the back. Just double checking which the side the back is. So that's the back. And I kind of eyeball the center. Looks like it's the middle of the Bering Sea on this one. And I'll make a hole. And I'll pop my eyelet in there in the hole. Then I switch this to the end, which is the smashing end. And I need to be on that one. And that one. And now I will line that up and smash that down. All right, so I really am going to need my little turtle here to block that big ol' hole. Maybe I'll use some larger. No, I won't. That won't go through the turtle. So here's my elastic again, and it's got to go around. So that looks like it'd be about 20. So both of these ends have to go into this hole. And one of these I'm going to thread through my turtle. And he will act as a way of blocking and then you just have to make sure that you have the right distance on here. So you want it to be able to, you want it to go around, you want it to be somewhat taut, but not so taut that it won't go, but you need to leave some room